Whether you call him the prodigal son or just the project, Brodric Martin is now on his way back to the Detroit Lions. And what do I mean by this? Well, the clock has officially started. Brodric Martin's 21-day window has finally been activated, and his practice window for him to make his way back to the 53-man roster is well underway. So Brodric Martin returns to the Lions practice facility today, where he's been, but now in an official capacity, where he can begin working out with his team and doing on-field drills and things of that nature. I'm going to take some excerpts from this Pride of Detroit article, Eric Schlitt, where he mentions that the Detroit Lions have now started the process to potentially return another player from injured reserve. And that player is Brodric Martin, Brodric Martin, and has begun practicing as of Wednesday today, October 30th, thus opening the 21-day evaluation window. Martin injured his knee in the final game of the preseason, which I believe was Pittsburgh, and placed on injured reserve. But it was during this time where there was a major battle going on. It was between Kyle Peko and Brodric Martin. Who was going to be, making the roster over one or the other? Was Kyle Peko going to, get bumped down? Was Brodric Martin going to get, cut? Highly doubtful. I always had Brodric Martin making the roster, and I thought that he was playing really, really well. And matter of fact, even some of the things mentioned in this article, talking about pad level for Brodric Martin, I thought that he was playing extremely well in preseason, not only with better pad level, but the pop and the viciousness, the violence that he was playing with as nose tackle, as defensive tackle, throughout preseason. It started to show up. It started to show what all of the offseason work that he had put in, not only to a body transformation, adding, lean muscle mass, dropping a few pounds, working on his, ability to get upfield quicker. Martin was looking really good. So it was kind of, disappointing to see that he went down with a knee injury. Now, Martin and Kyle Peko, like I said, according to this article as well, were battling it out for what was the reserve nose tackle spot behind DJ Reader during training camp. And while most believe Peko was ahead in the competition, I didn't. I saw Brodric Martin winning that competition, even though I liked what Kyle Peko was doing. And I was very happy to see Kyle Peko come back into the fold, during cuts. So unfortunately though, Peko was able to last just one day longer than Martin, right? So Peko won the job. And I don't mean unfortunately as in a negative thing, but that was just for Martin's case that he got injured. But since Martin's absence, the Lions have really struggled more against the run than maybe some of us have expected, at least per this article. That's what Eric Schlitt is saying. I don't know if I believe that. I mean, we still have not allowed a 100-yard rusher in over 25 games. So for those reasons, yeah, I think that we're doing just fine. Have we allowed more yards per game? Yes, we have. But we have not, and that's combined yards between quarterback and all running backs. But when it comes to just running backs, the Lions are still doing an excellent job. They're still ranked, in the top 5 in the league when it comes to run defense each and every week. So the Lions are doing fine. But now, the return of the prodigal son, Brodric Martin, 330-pound, 6'5" defensive tackle. What is this going to add to this defense at a time where we are really, really struggling to keep guys healthy? We've been down with all of our defensive ends this season. John Kaminsky went to IR early. As we all know, Aiden Hutchinson went down, 3 weeks ago. Davenport went down, I believe that was after week 3. And the Lions have just been reeling in injury after injury, or reeling from injury after injury. So what does this do for the Lions defense? Well, if you remember, one of my biggest reasons for adding interior defensive line help this season, and what I thought that the Lions should do, and they ultimately did by bringing in DJ Reader, was to give Aleem McNeil some help. And both of them combined would have been able to give Aiden Hutchinson some help, or the defensive end on the other side of the line some help. And it provides, that interior pass rush ability, or at least the interior pressure ability, to get after the quarterback and to force that quarterback to move out of the pocket left or right. Now you're bringing in another big guy. Can you imagine when we go 3 bigs with Aleem and DJ and the prodigal son and Brodric Martin, and then bring in some speedier guys, on the outside to get after the quarterback? There is nobody that is going to be able to hang with 300, plus, pound defensive tackles that can move. All 3 of these guys can move. Aleem McNeil can get after the pass rusher or get after the passer as a pass rusher. Mekhi Wingo, our rookie from this draft, he's also, has ability to get after the passer on the outside as an interior defensive lineman. Josh Paschal has now shown up as, he's been primarily an interior defensive lineman, able to work on the outside in a hybrid role. Now in the defensive end position, has shown that he can play that position just as good as well. So there's a lot to be excited for, assuming that Brodric Martin gets back, and he should. And I guess to speak on that, we know from past elevations like this, bringing guys back into the fold, starting their clock, it usually doesn't take the Lions 21 days. They usually don't start the clock, without thinking that there's, any possibility that it's not going to work out. It could be a week. Brodric Martin could be back playing next week. I doubt that he's going to make the Packers game, but he could make the week after. And that's kind of where I'm sitting right here. I'm thinking that maybe it's a 2-week window at most. But this is something that I was projected, 2 weeks ago, that his clock was going to start very soon. I had some information that said he was getting really, really close. And now 2 weeks later, the clock has started. So we're kind of right on track. It didn't take, another 3 weeks like some were saying. It only took us 2 weeks to get Brodric Martin back in the fold here. So really excited to see what's going to happen to this defense. I know a lot of you are not. I know a lot of you don't believe in the Brodric Martin, and what he can do to help this team, but I do. I've seen the work. I've watched his tape. I've seen how he's grown, and I'm expecting nothing but great things. Is he going to replace, a top defensive end? No, he's not. But is he going to be able to give Aaron Glenn more versatility? Is he going to be able to reach into his bag a little bit deeper? Absolutely. Again, 3 bigs on the line means that we only need 3 down linemen to eat up 6 gaps, because all 3 of these guys can take up 2 gaps. I mean, they're already running a gap and a half scheme as it is. So you're going to have to put, 5 assets on the offensive line up against these 3 defensive linemen. And that's assuming that you're probably double teaming DJ Reader, and you're probably going to want to try to double team Aleem McNeil. We'll see what happens. But I'm expecting the Lions defense to continue to get better as soon as Brodric Martin gets inserted into this game plan. Now, interesting stat from Eric Schlitz article here, where he says that the Lions currently have 13 players on injured reserve. But 5 of those were put on the list before the season and are not eligible to return. As we get every season, there's 8 players that you can bring back from IR. But players like Kyle Pecco, Marcus Davenport, and Derek Barnes are not expected to return from injury during the season. Now, he's leaving the door open for Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know why. I don't know why we fill Lions fans' heads with stuff like this, because let's just be honest. This is a 4 to 6 month injury for Aiden. And as much as I would love to see him come back and play in a Super Bowl, I mean, you're talking 4 months, November, December, January, February, 4 months from today, we'd be past the Super Bowl. So there's just no way. It doesn't make sense. Logically, time-wise, or other, health-wise, just doesn't make sense. And I don't think that the Lions would risk screwing up somebody's career for life to try to bring them back for one game. He would have no time to practice. He would have no time to get ready, to probably get, his strength back 100%. I just feel like it would be a huge opportunity lost for Aiden if he didn't take the proper time to get healthy. But anyway, he's leaving the door open. I don't think it's possible. But that leaves Brodric Martin, Efetu Melifonwu, John Kaminsky, and Emmanuel Mosley as the only players that are likely to return from their current injury status as of right now. Now, the Lions also returned Christian Mahogany, offensive guard. So he was an NFI list upgrade, so he doesn't count. DJ Reader did not count because he came to the Lions with an injury. So those types of players don't weigh against the number of guys that we have coming back from IR. Let's just hope we don't have any more. The Lions have definitely been through the ringer when it comes through injuries this season. But this is great news. Brodric Martin is on his way back. 21-day window is open. I'm expecting that it is going to be a short window, and we should see Brodric Martin in the fold here probably within 2 weeks in some game action is what I'm hoping. So good luck, Brodric. Go kick some butt, man. Can't wait to see you in the game. And that's it for this injury update. Go on Pride. Go Detroit Lions. We will see you guys all in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.